As we sit here today, it's your 8th wedding anniversary.
Yes.
And people said, George Clooney's, at the time, Amal, George Clooney's getting married?
Yeah.
Welcome back to our channel. Amal Clooney's parents just revealed a shocking truth about George Clooney. Once known as one of Hollywood's most eligible and charming bachelors, George Clooney captured the heart of the brilliant human rights attorney Amal Alamuddin. But winning over her family, especially her strict father, Ramzi Alamuddin, was no simple task. From initial skepticism to George proving his sincerity, this journey is one filled with emotions and surprises. What could have compelled Amal's father to create a list of 10 reasons why his daughter shouldn't marry George? What exactly were those reasons? And was George able to ease his concerns and win his approval? Join us as we dive into this fascinating and heartfelt story of how George Clooney won over Amal's family, and discover how Amal's parents have finally broken their silence about George Clooney. Amal's father's initial concerns. Ramzi Alamuddin, Amal Clooney's father, is not only a loving and protective parent, but also a man deeply rooted in the cultural values of his homeland, Lebanon. To him, marriage isn't just about two people in love. It is a strong commitment between two families, a lasting union that requires a solid foundation and the agreement of all parties involved. When Amal began her relationship with George Clooney, one of Hollywood's most charming and famous stars, Ramzi couldn't hide his worries. How could he not be concerned when his daughter, a smart and ambitious human rights lawyer, fell in love with a man 17 years older, known for his bachelor lifestyle and a history of dating many beautiful women? The fear that Amal might face inevitable heartbreak from a glamorous and unpredictable world made him reflect deeply. In fact, Ramzi took the time to make a list of 10 reasons to advise Amal against marrying George. These reasons weren't simple but very specific, reflecting his profound concerns and the cautious nature of a protective father. First and foremost was the age difference. At 50 when they met, George had already experienced many phases of life that Amal, who was just over 30 at the time, hadn't yet faced. Ramzi worried that differences in lifestyle, experiences, and future goals might create barriers that not every couple could overcome. Additionally, George's fame heightened Ramzi's anxieties. George wasn't just a sought-after actor, but also a symbol of freedom and spontaneity, frequently featured in the media, with his personal life under constant scrutiny. Could a life filled with pressure and public attention provide the peace and stability his daughter deserved? Scandals, controversies, and the pitfalls of the entertainment world were things Ramzi didn't want Amal to endure. Moreover, the cultural differences between the two could not be ignored. Amal, raised in a Lebanese family with traditional values, might face clashes in beliefs and ways of living when sharing her life with George, a Western man with American views and lifestyle. Cultural differences may not always be apparent at first, but could become major obstacles in a marriage over time. For Ramzi, love isn't just a fleeting emotion. It must be accompanied by long-term commitment and true harmony. That's why he didn't hesitate to offer serious advice to his daughter, even if it might hurt her feelings. He wanted Amal to fully understand the risks and not make a hasty decision. All of this posed a significant challenge for George Clooney. How could a man who once declared he'd never marry convince a strict and protective father like Ramzi that he was the right partner for Amal? This story isn't just about a romantic conquest. It's a journey of George proving that he could bring the happiness and security Amal's father wanted for his beloved daughter. Amal's mother's impression of George. In contrast to Ramzi's cautious approach, Amal's mother, Ramzi Alamuddin, had a very different reaction when she first met George Clooney. As a seasoned journalist known for her sharp instincts, Ramzi had an exceptional ability to read and understand people right away. And George Clooney, with his charm and intellect, quickly made a strong impression on her. Ramzi couldn't help but be drawn to George's natural charisma, humor, and politeness. Beyond his glamorous exterior, George revealed depth, intelligence, and a clear outlook on life. What moved Baria the most was the way he treated Amal, with complete respect for her work and ideals. As a mother who had always supported and encouraged Amal's human rights career, Baria sensed that George not only admired his wife, but also genuinely shared the values Amal was so passionate about. From their very first meeting, George showed that he was not an arrogant celebrity or someone who merely basked in fame. Instead, he impressed Baria with his sincerity, openness, and willingness to listen. She saw in George not just a romantic partner, but an ideal companion who could stand by Amal in both life and work. One key aspect that earned George Baria's admiration was his commitment to humanitarian causes and charitable efforts. Baria often expressed her joy in seeing George and Amal working together for noble causes, from building schools for Syrian refugee children to supporting victims of violence and war. George didn't just offer Amal moral support, he actively took part in their shared projects, further strengthening Baria's confidence in their relationship. Baria would often tell close friends that George and Amal's union was based not only on love, but also on a harmony of ideals and life goals. She could feel that George understood and valued the significance of Amal's work and was willing to invest time and effort to support her. This was precisely what Baria had always hoped for in a partner for her daughter. The warmth and admiration Baria felt for George were evident in the wholehearted approval she gave him. From cozy family dinners to shared humanitarian trips, Baria saw firsthand that George was not only a devoted husband, but also a caring father who prioritized family above all else. This dedication only deepened her affection for her son-in-law and reassured her that her daughter had found a loving and supportive partner in George. How George Clooney won over Amal's parents. Winning the heart of a woman is one thing, but winning over her parents, especially a protective father like Ramzi Alamuddin, proved to be an even greater challenge. George Clooney, once known as one of Hollywood's most famous bachelors, had to overcome significant obstacles to show that he was truly worthy of Amal. At first, Ramzi was not easily impressed. He wasn't swayed by George's fame or glamorous appearance. To him, George's past relationships and luxurious Hollywood lifestyle were red flags. But George, with his wit and natural charm, chose to approach the situation with sincerity and humor, a tactic he often used to diffuse tension. One memorable story George shared was about the 10 reasons list that Ramzi had written to discourage Amal from marrying him. On Howard Stern's show, George joked that those reasons had practically become their wedding vows. His humor and easygoing attitude didn't just entertain the audience, but also showed that he wasn't avoiding the family's concerns. Instead, he faced them openly, with a smile. Gradually, George began to prove that he wasn't just another superficial Hollywood star. He took the time to learn about and respect Amal's family's cultural values. He attended family dinners, listened to stories from their past, and showed genuine respect for Amal's grandparents. George understood that winning Ramzi's approval wouldn't come from grand gestures, but from demonstrating that he was a responsible and trustworthy partner. What began to change Ramzi's perspective was witnessing the love and dedication George had for Amal. Unlike the men who had come into his daughter's life before, George showed a willingness to sacrifice and put family first. He didn't just love Amal. He supported her work wholeheartedly, always respecting her career and the humanitarian causes she championed. This made Ramzi realize that George was more than just a famous actor. He was a man ready to stand behind his daughter unconditionally. Furthermore, George's devotion to fatherhood touched Amal's family deeply. When their twins, Ella and Alexander, were born, George proved to be a caring and hands-on dad, eager to participate in even the smallest family duties. He shared the joys, worries, and exhaustion that come with being a parent, showcasing his maturity and genuine commitment to family life. Over time, both Ramzi and Berea saw that George Clooney had won over Amal not with fame or fortune, but through steadfast commitment and meaningful actions. From heartfelt conversations to lovingly supporting his family, George demonstrated that he was a man they could trust and proudly call their son-in-law. The love story of Amal and George Clooney. George Clooney and Amal Alamuddin are a couple whose marriage few could have predicted, given their vastly different lives and careers before they met. George Clooney, born on May 6, 1961, is one of Hollywood's most powerful and charming A-list stars. Known for his dashing looks, confident demeanor, and an illustrious acting career with iconic roles in ER, Ocean's 11, and Syriana, which earned him an Oscar, George famously declared he would never marry. Dubbed Hollywood's most eligible bachelor, he lived a glamorous, carefree life seemingly free of commitments beyond work and casual relationships. In contrast, Amal Alamuddin, born on February 3, 1978, is an exceptional human rights lawyer of Lebanese descent, raised in the UK. A graduate of Oxford University and NYU Law School, her career is marked by high-profile cases and a relentless pursuit of justice. Amal is known not only for her extraordinary intelligence and professionalism, but also as a confident, independent woman dedicated to her noble causes. Relationships that were shallow had no place in her life, as she was focused on making a meaningful impact on the world. Two people from two completely different worlds, a celebrated Hollywood star with a colorful past, and a serious human rights lawyer with lofty ideals. Yet fate had a plan for them. They met in 2013 at George's home in Lake Como, Italy, during a dinner party hosted by a mutual friend. From that very moment, it was as if a spark had been ignited between them. George, ever confident, later admitted that he was immediately captivated by Amal's intelligence and striking presence. She was unlike any woman he had ever met, unimpressed by his fame or looks, but rather engaged by his thoughtful and clever conversation. Their relationship began in an untraditional yet natural way. After their first meeting, George and Amal started communicating through email. But these weren't your typical mundane emails. Instead, they exchanged witty, playful, and engaging messages about politics, work, and even everyday life stories. George quickly realized he was becoming enamored with Amal's brilliance and confidence, qualities he rarely found in his previous relationships. Amal, a strong-willed and busy lawyer, never expected a relationship with a Hollywood star to turn serious. But George's sincerity and humor slowly broke through her defenses. After months of email exchanges, George and Amal finally reunited in London. Their first official date was at Abbey Road Studios, where George was working on the film The Monuments Men, followed by a romantic evening at a well-known restaurant. Despite the paparazzi attention, Amal handled the situation with calm professionalism, a quality George deeply admired. He recalled how Amal remained composed and graceful, unaffected by the media frenzy, a moment that made George realize he was in the presence of someone truly special. Someone unfazed by Hollywood's glare. Their relationship blossomed, with the couple embarking on adventures around the globe. From intimate dinners at upscale restaurants to meaningful trips, such as their visit to Kenya, every moment strengthened their bond. In Kenya, as Amal smiled and played with giraffes at Giraffe Manor, George knew she was the one. It was then that he began planning the proposal, a moment filled with surprise and deep emotion. One cozy evening at his home in Los Angeles, George cooked an Italian dinner for Amal. After the meal, he asked her to retrieve a lighter from a drawer. When she opened it, a stunning diamond ring awaited. George, with trembling hands and a nervous smile, got down on one knee and proposed. Amal was so shocked that she stood silent for several minutes, leaving George anxiously wondering if she might say no. But eventually, she nodded yes, and George described that moment as one of the happiest of his life. Just a few months after the heartfelt proposal, they had their dream wedding on September 27, 2014, in Venice, Italy. The lavish, romantic ceremony took place at Aman Canal Grande, Venice, a breathtaking venue surrounded by winding canals. Amal was radiant in a custom Oscar de la Renta gown, while George looked dashing in a Giorgio Armani tuxedo. The event was graced by A-list stars like Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, and John Krasinski, but what moved everyone were the heartfelt and loving vows George and Amal exchanged. Their wedding was not just the union of two people, but the blending of two worlds that seemed worlds apart. Their love story is a testament to the power of true love, overcoming all obstacles, from cultural differences to public skepticism. George Clooney, once the eternal bachelor of Hollywood, found a woman who changed his world completely, someone he not only loves but deeply respects and admires. And Amal, the strong and brilliant lawyer, found a partner willing to stand by her side in her quest to make the world a better place. Life after marriage. After their lavish wedding in Venice in 2014, George and Amal Clooney's life together wasn't a simple fairy tale, but a beautiful blend of love, career, and noble ideals. They embarked on a new journey, taking on greater responsibilities, yet finding immense joy and creating unforgettable memories along the way. When George and Amal decided to start a family, many were surprised. For a man who once declared he'd never marry, the idea of fatherhood seemed unlikely. Yet, when Amal became pregnant with twins in 2017, George's excitement and joy amazed the world. In an interview, he shared that becoming a father was the greatest gift life has given me, and he prepared himself for the many changes that came with this role. On June 6, 2017, their twins, Ella and Alexander Clooney, were born at St. Mary's Hospital in London, bringing indescribable happiness to George and Amal. George humorously recounted that when he first saw his children, he could hardly believe he had become a father. Despite his fame and illustrious acting career, he realized that no role could compare to the role of being a dad. Their lives entered a new phase. George, who had once been surrounded by glamorous parties and flashing cameras, now found joy in the simple moments of fatherhood. He often shared funny stories about sleepless nights, likening parenting to an endless party where you never get to rest. He cherished every moment, from reading bedtime stories to playful afternoons at home. While he admitted that being a dad wasn't easy, he also said it was a journey he wouldn't trade for anything. Amal found new meaning in motherhood, but never lost her passion for human rights work. She spoke about how life changed after having children, but she remained grateful for George's unwavering support. A man once used to freedom and travel, George had transformed, choosing to be by Amal's side, sharing in the challenges of raising their children. They worked together as a team, always striving to balance work and family life. Their post-marriage life wasn't just about the joys of parenthood, it was also marked by shared commitments to charity and human rights. In late 2016, the couple founded the Clooney Foundation for Justice, an organization dedicated to promoting justice and protecting the rights of the vulnerable worldwide. George and Amal have worked tirelessly on programs to support refugees, raise awareness of human rights issues, and rally international support. This isn't just Amal's work. It's a shared passion that George fully embraces. Together, they've hosted fundraising campaigns, attended major events, and used their influence to promote good causes. Amal often says that George has helped her amplify her human rights efforts, while George credits Amal with making him a better person and realizing his greater responsibility to the community. When they talk about each other, their eyes light up with pride and love. Despite their busy careers, George and Amal have created a warm and loving environment for Ella and Alexander. They focus on raising their children to be humble and grateful. Amal, serious as a human rights lawyer, teaches compassion and responsibility, while George, with his natural humor, adds moments of laughter and playfulness, ensuring a household filled with joy. They are also committed to keeping their children's lives as normal as possible, away from Hollywood's spotlight. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, George and Amal, like so many other families, spent more time at home with their twins. They turned this challenging period into an opportunity to grow closer. Amal showcased her cooking skills with delicious meals, while George attempted to learn pizza making, a task he admitted he wasn't great at. They had family movie nights, did arts and crafts, and even participated in small creative projects with the kids. These moments not only strengthened their bond, but also reaffirmed that, despite fame and success, family is what matters most. Life after marriage for George and Amal Clooney is a vivid picture where love, careers, and ideals beautifully intertwine. They have overcome the challenges of fame and found peace and contentment in each other and their family. Their story is a testament that true love can transform a person for the better, and that real happiness lies not in what you have, but in who you love and what you give back to the world. Current life. Today, George and Amal Clooney continue to write a meaningful chapter in their lives, not just as husband and wife, but as community advocates and dedicated parents. They balance their careers and family life together, using their fame as a platform to spread goodness. At 63, George Clooney is not only a talented actor and producer, but also a loving father and a responsible husband. Although he has reached the pinnacle of success in his film career, he remains active and creative. His new film projects continue to attract public interest, but more notable is how he always puts his family first. George often shares that he has learned so much from marriage and fatherhood, something he never imagined would become such an important part of his life. He has said that seeing his children smile makes all the stress and pressure melt away. Meanwhile, Amal Clooney maintains her status as a top human rights lawyer, tirelessly fighting for justice and protecting human rights. She continues her impactful work, defending high-profile clients and tackling global human rights cases, from issues involving political prisoners to freedom of the press and migration. Despite her demanding schedule and the pressures of her job, Amal always makes family time a priority. Pictures of her picking up her kids from school or enjoying outings with George and the twins in the countryside show her remarkable ability to balance career and family life. The Clooneys currently reside in a charming villa on the shores of Lake Como in Italy and a cozy home in Los Angeles. In both places, they have created welcoming and family-friendly environments for their children. George has turned the grounds of their Lake Como estate into an ideal space for family afternoons, where they can stroll along the lake, go boating, or enjoy family meals under the blue sky. He even makes sure to set aside dedicated time for the kids, telling funny stories and teaching them simple yet valuable life lessons, which he describes as simple but precious joys. Beyond family life, the couple continues their humanitarian and charitable work. The Clooney Foundation for Justice has grown significantly, carrying out its mission to promote justice and protect the rights of the vulnerable. Recently, they expanded the Trial Watch program, an initiative that monitors unfair trials worldwide to ensure no one is wrongfully convicted or oppressed. George and Amal are deeply involved in these projects, both financially and through personal engagement. They meet with world leaders and use their influence to advocate for positive change. They see charity work not just as a duty, but also as a way to teach their children the importance of compassion and social responsibility. The Clooneys also make time for relaxing vacations, exploring new destinations, or revisiting places with beautiful memories. They have shared happy moments as a family, watching sunsets in Italy or strolling along quaint streets in France. George still keeps his trademark humor, and Amal continues to admire his optimism and the way he makes everyone around him smile. Their home is filled with laughter and love. However, they also face challenges, especially when balancing work and family life and protecting their children's privacy from the media. George and Amal strive to keep Ella and Alexander away from the public eye, giving them as normal a childhood as possible. They carefully consider every decision regarding parenting, hoping to raise their children with humility, gratitude, and kindness. The Clooneys have become a symbol of the perfect blend of love, intelligence, and compassion. They are not only stars, but also influential figures using their fame to make the world a better place. In every interview, George's eyes light up with pride when he talks about Amal. And Amal always emphasizes that George is the best partner she could ever have. Their current life is a complete journey where family values, social responsibility, and passion coexist. And whatever the future holds, George and Amal Clooney are ready to face it together, side by side, continuing their beautiful and admirable love story in the modern world. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more exciting content. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. See you in the next video. Goodbye.